Hey, I want to pull, I guess, a card, at least a card, and see what comes out. Okay, this is the deck that's standing out right now. Let's see what message is going to come through. There we go. The one on top I'm supposed to look at. Oh my goodness. Wait. Postpone. Pause. Say no. I'm going to show that again. Wait. Postpone. Pause. Say no. Also, sorry, there's an AC down there running and I am not turning it off. The white noise I personally can't stand, but we just installed the AC yesterday, so I'm gonna let it do its job. Anyways, a couple of things are coming up for me as I look at this card. I'm seeing the Tower, and I'm also seeing the High Priestess. The Tower, just with everything that's like, the lightning and everything that seems to be destructing in the background, but the High Priestess because of these pillars here. And so it's almost like we're supposed to use that High Priestess energy to help us through this Tower moment. And with the wait, postpone, pause, and say no. Say no to the things that aren't lining up, whenever you take a few deep breaths and allow yourself to see beyond the connections that you've made so that maybe, greater connections can come. Let go of how rigidly we hold on to things. And maybe let go of how rigidly we're holding on to that. Maybe there's something that we've been saying yes to that we really should be saying no to. Something we haven't almost like you've been saying yes because we think that there's still lessons to be learned there, but in truth, the lesson to be learned is to end the cycle. Once you become aware that there's so many patterns constantly at play in our lives, we become aware of those patterns, and sometimes it's easy to convince ourselves that we are playing out those patterns because we always have and we're supposed to continue to do so, but we're supposed to continue to do so with more awareness than we did before. That's not always the case though, because once you become aware of the patterns, if you don't do something to change the pattern and make a new, better pattern for yourself going forwards, it's almost going to get worse, right? That like spiral downwards that you get stuck in. Like the consequences for remaining in something that no longer serves you get stronger and more instantaneous too. Almost like instant karma type of stuff. So yeah. Use the High Priestess energy during this Tower time to go within, to allow yourself to connect with the other side and feel which pieces, so to like, for lack of a better word, which pieces you're supposed to move into place going forward. Okay. I see. The dragon deck is calling out. Okay. Get in the box. I love coffee. Okay. Star Dragon Oracle cards. I love these. I bought these cards in the whole first like the whole first day or two that I used them, nothing wanted to come out. And I like flipped through them and was reading the book and all sorts of stuff. And I mean, I was shuffle, nothing wanted to come out. I was like, that's interesting, because I really felt drawn to buy these cards. And then, okay. And then, the next day, they were like flying out, you know. I slept with them underneath my pillow for a couple of days. Okay. So, to this saying no to things that no longer serve us, to this feeling into the right directions to take ourselves as the tower falls, you know, it's like when you're watching the tower come down, which way is it going to fall? You really don't want to get crushed under it. It's going to help us with that. The dragon's trying to tell us about that. Is that a yes? Is that a no? Let's see. Came, but then it flipped itself back in. One more opportunity. That's the one. Okay. Understanding, looking at both sides. Number 14. Which is a 5, which has to do with, I think, challenges. I haven't read the numerology book. But understanding, looking at both sides, which is what I was literally just saying about the tower, is looking at which way that tower is going to fall and figuring out where you need to go. I wonder if we also need to look at like both sides of the moment, right? Look at before the tower and look at, well, we can't fully see what's after the tower yet. Like I was talking about, you know, letting go of the things that we hold on to, the things that are like, what did I say, the patterns? It's like letting those dissolve. You know, so as the tower crumbles, what we have been looking at as basically an obstacle, okay? Here's what's so interesting is this tower that we've seen. It's like, you want to get the job in the tower, you know, you want to work all the way on the top floor, you like work your way up the ladder, get all the way up there. But this tower that you've been like living your whole life to try and work your way up is crumbling to the ground. And what you're finding out is this tower this whole time was not the path that you were meant to go up. It was the obstacle that was in the way. It was the thing that was distracting you from like the greater important, sorry, my nose is itchy, from the greater important more important path and like more proper, more aligned path that you're supposed to be on. Wow, there's so much going on here too, especially with everything that's going on right now in the world. Like, we've got up here this skull, you know, almost symbolizing the tower, and it's on fire, you know, just so much chaos and destruction and violence going on over here. It's like the volcano is about to explode, you know. But then down here, bright, shiny, happy, authentically themselves, looking at the bright side. You know, with the way that the head is tilted, they can see with their peripheral that dragon over there on the skull. You know, they can see that, oh wow, which is even deeper whenever you think about it like that. That like this dragon, this violence, this destruction, it's not just happening out there, it's happening in here. The fact that it's like on the skull is just so hitting that nail on the head. Yeah, that like so much of this war and this violence that's going on is an internal battle that we're having, and because we are all having this battle internally, it is projecting itself out into the world in such a rash way, such a violent, such a violent way, such a horrific way. But it's so important, first of all, not to ignore that it's happening, right? To remember, keep in mind, and like just remind yourself that like, yes, there are things happening in the world. And that makes it even more prudent to be bright, to shine your light, to be your authentic self, to find joy, to bring color and happiness to the world when and where we can. Especially when the entire world is focused on this destruction. And it almost seems what you might feel, I don't really know the word, but you might feel blank about being joyful and about being happy and about spreading positivity and about calling in abundance and calling in beneficial forces to help you in your life, you know, calling in the things that are going to help your life blossom into what it's supposed to be. I know it doesn't always feel great to do those things whenever there's so much like darkness and destruction and war going on in the world. But that's all the more reason to do it. Like you can't fight dark with dark. You know, what do you do when you're in the dark and you want to see? You turn on the light. Like, we are the light that has to come on in this world in order to shine bright enough for the darkness to no longer engulf us. Anything else up here? Yep. This one. All right, let's see who is here to help. Oh, because the Divine Masters. Ripples. Oh, Kuan Yin, enlightened action. Choose compassion and move forward with grace. That's a good one. It's just what's on the bottom. Still gonna shuffle. Hands can only hold so many cards. Okay. Okay. All right. And who from this deck wants to speak? Oh, yes. Mary Magdalene, sacred vessel. You are the answer. Be guided to your purpose. Mary Magdalene, you are the answer. Sacred vessel. And you are. We are all sacred vessels here so that our spirits can experience life through this vessel that is us. Like I said, about shining that light, the more that you allow your spirit to move through you and to live, the more that you allow your spirit to live, the brighter that light inside of you shines. And that really is, that's the answer to solving this crumbling tower problem, is all of us moving forward, accepting that the choices that we make, the thoughts that we choose to align with, all direct the collective. They all, in terms of magnets, right? It's every single one of us that awakens to this and accepts that it's our choices, our thoughts, and our actions, every single bit of that helps to tune the compass, tune the collective compass of the planet into the direction to help us move more in the path of love and less in the path of fear, more in the path of acceptance, less in the path of division, more in the path of unity, less in the path of destruction. There's a line in Rent that says the opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation. The opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation. And the best way that we can combat this war right now, not just this war in the world, but any war going on inside of us, any war going on within our familial systems, within our friend systems, within our work environments, any of that, the best way to combat war is creation. I got chills like that. We're here to create, and that's any form of creation. I made freaking muffins yesterday using some, I had 3 bananas that were past their prime. I didn't want to, I didn't want them to go bad. I have some honey that someone gave me. They were just gonna throw away, right? So just saving things from going in the trash. And I got these delicious, look at this, look at this. Look at these muffins, okay? Oh, and they smell so good. I made some regular, some pecan. I made some with chocolate chips for my chocolate cravings. And I made, I had streusel left over from the last time that I made muffins still in the fridge. And so I rolled them all around in the streusel. Every single part of that was creation. I made pasta from scratch the other day. Turned out delicious, but texture wise and stuff, I gave up, right? And I was we're having drunken noodles. They were not awesome. The next day I took the leftover of that pasta and turned it into a pasta casserole, put it in the oven so it cooked longer. It got even the leftovers were delicious, and I added with the rest of a little cream cheese packet to it, and a can of tomato sauce or whatever. And here I am ending up with a delicious rosé dressing of sauce on the creation. Okay, I allowed myself to get out of my head and allow my spirit to come through and just have fun and play in the kitchen. Something I never thought I could or would do, much less enjoy it to the capacity that I do. Making a meal, making a delicious cup of coffee in the way that you enjoy making it. That's creation. Sitting down and coloring with crayons I have over there. That's creation. There doesn't have to be a goal of any kind. You can literally just you're just here to let your spirit play. Your spirit doesn't identify with an age. Your spirit doesn't identify with a gender. They're too balanced for that. And you in this life may enjoy expressing more feminine aspects of yourself, but you can't even express the feminine aspects without the masculine doing the expressing of that, space of the feminine. there's so much balance. Let me see. Okay, let me see. This is a goofy little example, okay? But I took crayons. This is creation, okay? It doesn't have to be pure art. I drew them based on what the name of the crayon was. This color is mint. I drew mint. This is orange. I drew an orange. Granny Smith apple, you know, like salmon. Like, what does red look like? And blue? Oh. Creation isn't about being phenomenal. Creation is about just expression. It's just about expression. It's about letting those emotions. Now I'm just showing off all my paintings, right? Which way do you go? This way, this way, this way. What is this? I don't know. I don't know, man. I hated what it looked like to start with. Now it's got a bunch of like colors on a canvas. And behind it, the missing piece. What piece are we really missing? Creation. Connecting to our spirit. Understanding that that piece that you're missing isn't outside of yourself, it's inside of yourself, and it's not missing, it's just not being given the attention that it needs in order to thrive and to shine and to blossom in this life, in this reality, in this earth plane. Sorry, oh my goodness, my nose. And with all the red here, stood out initially, just as it always does, root chakra. And look at this. I'm not done with this painting, but I've been working on this, and it's been so fun. Does it take skill? I don't think so. Does it take patience? I don't think so. What does it take? Starting. Sometimes that's the hardest part, is just sitting down and starting. I've started on this well, obviously I haven't started, but I've started and paused and worked on it again, like 3 times, you know? It's something that I can just keep coming back to. I'm gonna add gold. But the red was just standing out to me. Remember the fact that that's red and orange and yellow. It's not just the root chakra, but like the root, the solar plexus, and the sacral chakras, and reminding ourselves that like this vessel is not just up here. It's not just about connecting the third eye and the crown to the higher self. It's not just about like speaking, you know, channeled words and stuff like that. And it is about using those to connect, living from the heart, and reminding yourself to stay grounded, stay rooted in those lower chakras, because that is what keeps us. Oh my God, flock of birds. Oh, there's so many. Oh my goodness. Oh. What are you? What are you? Oh, come this way. Come this way. No, I don't think they. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No. I'm like, where did they go? Oh, that was so magnificent. That was so magnificent. I think those were white pelicans. Allowing your spirit to enjoy seeing the birds. I love birds. I love birds so much. They bring me so much joy. So much joy. This life brings me so much joy. And again, just to remind ourselves, it's not just about elevating yourself in your higher chakras, you know, it is about aligning yourself through all of them. Being as rooted down here on this earth plane as we are in connection to our higher self. And that like really blossoms through the heart. You know, the heart is really what connects it all. I'm gonna have to leave this here because I think I could just keep going on and on and on and on and on. And this is really beautiful as it is. Don't close that. You need to put everything up. Say no to the things that are no longer serving you. Even if you've been saying yes this whole time, it's not, we don't just have to become aware of the patterns. Once you become aware of the patterns, you have to make the choice to make the change. Look at both sides of things. And choose joy, choose light, choose positivity, choose smiles. Because you are your sacred vessel. And the more that we allow our spirits to come through and live through us, I mean, the less destruction and the less war and stuff like that that's going to be on the planet and inside of us, because there's no war within yourself when you are fully expressing your authentic, I don't know, spirit, soul, self. You're not worried about what other people think. You're not worried about what other people would prefer for you, your other people's wants, other people's desires. When you do what your spirit wants, and because of that connection through the heart, right? Because of that connection to the earth through your heart, living a spirit-led life can only help the whole. Because the spirit's up here and it comes through your heart, which is so powerful and so full of love, and that's how it connects to us down here. And when you're fully in alignment, when we are all fully in alignment with ourselves, we are all fully in alignment with the whole. Again, directing that compass back to where it should be. I don't know. Express yourself authentically through any form of creation. Any form of creation. Even if it is making up your own words to songs as you walk down the street or in the shower or whatever. Like even that, you don't have to write them down, you don't have to record it, but like even that even that's creation. So many things are. Okay. I'm gonna leave that there. Thanks.